and welcome back to the show, guys. We've got we've been missing for a week, but to start on a positive, Donny van de Beek. He's ours. He's officially ours. He was announced a few days ago. Wanted to go live, but load in our country, the electricity is not always in our house, as crazy as that sounds. But yeah, we move anyways. Donny van de Beek. He's ours. Personally, I'm a bit heartbroken because I wanted Jack Grealish, but Donny van de Beek, it's surprising because I'll tell you what about Donny van de Beek, I did not expect it. I think it's a player that we, as fans, we've mentioned. I think it's a player that's well scouted by fans and other places, but the story came out of nowhere. It was out Saturday morning, Sunday night. He was ours, and then we were basically just waiting for United to confirm it, but we had confirmation from Tier 1 channels such as Fabrizio Romano, Christian Fowl, and many others. Lots of Tier 1s came out, said it was done deal, so now he's ours. I'm very shocked. Clay, what's your initial thoughts of Donny van de Beek?
Oh, I'm also a bit shocked that we actually managed to pull off business like that. It's fantastic
24 hours,
as United fans to see something happen like that. It genuinely felt like it was more fan speculation than anything else, and the club just picked it up and made something happen. It's very impressive.
It is. And from a business point, you look at Manchester United. From a business point, it makes a lot of sense. He's a lot cheaper. You look at how much we got from him, is around like £35 million, and you think that him and Bruno is equivalent to less than what Jack Grealish would have been, or what James Maddison would have been. I think it just Premier League players, and specifically the English Premier League players, are extremely expensive, and it's heartbreaking for me, like I said, because I really do like Jack Grealish, but I've got no complaints. Listen, Donny is our player. I think he's actually, lots of people, I would say maybe 70%, 80% of the fan base would say he's better than Jack Grealish, and that's completely fine. I understand that. We'll look into his stats and what Donny will bring to the team soon, but I get it. But the thing with Jack Grealish now, I think we can put it to bed. That's done. Maybe at least for the summer. Maybe next summer he could come up. You never know. But that's football. I think if I was Jack Grealish, I'd be maybe, I don't know. It's his boyhood club at the end of the day, but he could be feeling like I missed my chance or whatever. But never say never. We move. It's not about Jack Grealish. It's about Donny van de Beek. And let's talk about how Donny van de Beek fits into the team. I've seen over the past few days on Twitter especially that Ollie might put Donny into the first team somehow, but personally, I don't think he is. Well, he can. I'm not saying he can't do that, but I think at the moment where we stand now, Donny is more of a bench player, squad depth player, and is an amazing player. Don't get me wrong, Donny is good enough to force his way into the first team. He's definitely good enough to do that. But from my point is, he looks like he can do everything. Lots of people says if he does start into the starting level, he can play where Matches plays. And what I would say about that, listen, from what I've seen from Donny van de Beek, he's a very good, tenacious tackler. Don't get it wrong. Like, I've seen him, his tackling is very good. Other aspects, like, just his situational awareness, when he's in the CDM role specifically, I'm not too sure about, but I definitely know he's a hardworking, tenacious, and good tackler on the ball. So, that's great. Donny, he could do it. I'm not saying he can. And I think against the smaller teams, I wouldn't be opposed to starting all Bruno, Pogba, and Donny van de Beek. But maybe when it comes to Liverpool's, or like even teams like Burnley, where you need some more physicality and you actually need that one CDM holding role, then Matic plays. So I think for me personally, he doesn't start yet. I think we put him on the bench, see how he comes. See where we can use him, test him in smaller games with Bruno and Pogba in the field. But that's what I think. What do you think, Clay? Do you think he gets into the first team at the moment? Do you think he's more of a rotational player? Where do you see? How do you see that Donny van de Beek fits into the team?
So I personally feel that we're going to need a change of system if we're going to have to start him. If we're going to want to start him, should I say? A flat three in the midfield would work lovely with our current midfielders, because everybody can comfortably play the 8. They can do defensive duties. They can go forward, can go backwards. Bruno played as an 8 for a lot of Sporting last season, a lot of the games there. So it's very capable for him. He doesn't have to play the 10 role, but it's down to what Ollie wants and what the rest of the coaching staff would feel is best for the team overall. And it's probably still going to be the 4-2-3-1, where I don't think Van de Beek fits in. I don't think he is good enough of a holding player, because that's what we need right now to fit that system. because he would be a fantastic box to box. He said it himself. He likes to attack. He can do a lot of defensive work. He gets a lot of assists. He gets a lot of goals. It feels like we're wasting a bit of his talent by putting him in that holding DM role at the same time as well. It feels like he is a squad depth player, as you said, and I wouldn't expect Matic to lose his starting spot anytime soon with him around, unless something severely changes with our tactics and how Ale looks at our team. He's going to be sitting on the bench and coming on every now and then. Most games, if not all games, he'll be coming on as rotation for Pogba or Bruno because he can play either of those roles. We're not calling him a bad player by any means. It's just that.
No, I'm trying to look at his stats now. That's why I've been.
Yeah,
I haven't been looking at the character, but the stats are giving me some problems. But from what this is, so in the league,
he had 20 plus, goal contributions last season, right?
my freaking stat thing is bugged out here.
Yeah,
but
it was something like 12 goals, 14 assists, I believe.
Something like that. Listen, his stats in terms of assists and goal scoring is better than Jack Grealish. Obviously, people say it's because he might be in the Dutch league and stuff like that. But, if you're good enough, you're good enough. I do understand that Jack Grealish did it in a struggling Villa side or whatever. But Van de Beek is a good player, guys. Don't get us wrong. Van de Beek is a fantastic player. He's a really good player. What you said, going back into how Donny fits into the team. I've seen some fans, it's obviously a fan theory. We've seen it once last season where Oli can play a diamond midfield. I'll be honest with you. I hate that formation. When we played it against Everton, it was dead. That formation was dead.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden when you change a few names, you put carry on.
Yeah. So the biggest issue I found with that diamond is that we were playing Dan James out at striker at every point imaginable, and he just hurt our attacks every single time. Unfortunately, it just isn't where he thrives in the slightest, and it doesn't help that we didn't have the players at that time to perform that diamond correctly. I think we could definitely pull one off nicely now. We have the players, but it's not exactly smart to just go, here are all my best players, go out every single game in, game out. Instead of just playing it a bit smarter and going, well, our new sign's going to be more of a squad player. Instead of changing everything about us. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I think the diamond could work. Personally, I don't like it. But I was about to say, literally before you said that, I was going to say that, if you change the players in that diamond, all of a sudden you have Matic, then Pogba, Van de Beek, and then Bruno. And then, you see now, this is the problem. This is the problem with that diamond. Because this means we're going to have to leave one on the bench, which isn't a bad thing. But either Rashford or Bruno will be on the bench. And obviously people will say play Rashford and Martial. But I don't know if Rashford will be good in that, the two main guys up front. I like Rashford on the wing. I think that's where he's good at. More towards the center, I don't rate Rashford as much. I think Martial and Bruno will work better in the diamond system. But that's just my opinion. So for me, that's the one way you could get all our midfielders in. But I don't want us to start looking like that. We bought Donny Van de Beek for a reason because we are complaining that our bench isn't good enough and we don't have any players on our bench that can change the game. And now Donny's there all of a sudden. He's the best player on that bench. And, he's looking really good. And, I found his stats. Fine.
There we go.
Okay. So goals, he's got 14 goals, 7 assists. Passing accuracy of 81%, and he makes 1.7 key passes a game. Now, that's good. I don't care what anyone says. That is good, especially from midfield. Like what you said, Donny. For me, Donny fits into our team more as a box-to-box. Definitely, I don't really see him as the holding. Like I said before, I see him drop in. I see him do a lot of what Bruno does. He likes to get in the box. I think Donny likes to get in the box. He said it himself. Right? He like to get in the box and take a shot or whatever. So I don't know if he was more for edge of the box type midfielder when he's attacking. But what I will say about Donny, he's very old school. He's an old school fashion midfielder back in the day when you led what position you play in football and you were just straight up center midfield. And that was it. There was no this cam number 10s, anything ridiculous. He's just an old school midfielder who's very versatile. And I'm very excited to have him at United. And then that brings on to our next point, Clay, about Donny, is that what do you think is the expectation for Donny Van de Beek this season?
Are we talking personal expectations here? Or are we talking?
Yeah. What do we as the fans expect from Donny? Obviously, we don't know what's his personal thing. His personal thing could be I want to drop Pogba. So as fans, what do you think we should expect from Donny this season?
It takes a long time to settle into a squad. You got to understand that as well. He's not exactly just going to pull a Bruno.
Yeah,
That's
he's
very
not
much
going to pull
a
it.
rarity nowadays. Even though it just happened last season, you understand? But it's not just going to happen. He's not going to just fall into the squad. He's not going to just make that instant impact. We got to be patient with him. We got to see where he fits into our tactics. The season's going to be trial and error with him. I don't think we should expect greatness just yet. Maybe next season after we found our footing with him and where he fits into our team. For all we know, we get there halfway through the season and we're very comfortable with him playing in a DM role and he can play holding 24/7 for us. You never know what changes. But I do think we just need to calm down with our expectations for him for now and just let him be and
Give him
try
time.
not to get. Yeah, just give him time, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I think, we mustn't get too gassed, too excited. We mustn't think he's going to be a Pogba. We mustn't think he's going to be a Bruno. He's got the potential to become those players. But at the moment, first game, don't expect that, Don't expect it like that. Listen, at the end of the day, the reality is all signings can flop, Touch wood, it doesn't happen with DONNY. But yeah, I think Clayton, you spot on, give him time, let him settle in. Let's see what he's done with. Because to be honest, I know more about Jack Grealish than I do about Donny van der Beek. So we'll have to see. I'm very excited to see Donny van der Beek. And I applaud the club for one. I think this was a signing I did not expect them to do. I think we even might have said it in the previous show. Like we were speaking, I think I said something like Donny van der Beek, nah, probably not likely, maybe Jack Grealish, but we'll be lucky. But yeah, they pulled it out of the bag. It's like they're listening to us. It's almost like as they're listening to our shows. Just a little, like, all the fan channels. Shout out the United Stand, shout out Fitfit Paddock, everything, Straight Jacket Park. Like, they're listening to the fan base at the end of the day, people on Twitter. And, I applaud the club for Donny van der Beek. He doesn't know many players. Obviously, he just knows Foster Mensah at our current team. But there's a history of Dutch players in United. I just want to touch on this. I read an interesting point where it said that we've had great history with some Dutch players. Obviously, Van der Sar. Shout out to Van der Sar. He made this. He's one of the big reasons this deal got done in 24 hours. Wherever in our heart, Van der Sar saving us. This is what happens when you have a director of football, by the way. He'll get done just like that. There's no arguments. No negotiations happen. Paid the price, he was our player. Yes, Sanchez is more complicated, but it helps to have someone like Van der Sar. And yeah, but what I was saying is we have great history of Dutch players, Van der Sar, Van Nistelrooy, Van Persie. We have good Dutch players. Those are amazing Dutch players that we've had. And then someone just said recently, the Dutch signings that we have brought in recently haven't been that great. Memphis was one of them. He's obviously, the argument now is he's fantastic, but when we had him, we didn't look after him as well as we should have. So Memphis didn't work out the way we wanted to. Blint didn't work out the way we wanted to. That's the other one. And then Foster Mensah, we haven't seen much of Foster Mensah. I think we might have expected to see more of him. But that's our recent Dutch players. And I expect Donny to break the streak. I don't expect Donny to be mentioned in that group of names. I think he will be a good player, like I said. I think he'll break the curse that we've had recently with our Dutch players. And yeah, I'm excited to see him work. Do you think there's any thing we should be worried about that I mentioned? Memphis, people like Blend, people like Fosu, and how they haven't really, worked out the way we wanted. Do you think there's any worry in that towards regards with Donny van der Beek?
No, I don't think so. I think everybody else we could either say we got too early or too late into their career. So Memphis, we got really early into his career where he was just a bright spark that was just showing his talent. And he just kind of couldn't perform at the highest levels immediately, which is expected from a kid at the end of the day. But Van der Beek is 23, 24 now?
23, yeah.
Yeah, he's hit his stride. He's played a lot of UCL games. He's looked convincing. He's proved himself on the highest level. He has a trophy cabinet. He's been around a good amount of experience in that Ajax squad.
Yeah,
he was part of the Champions League final that Ajax went to.
Semi-final, yeah. He was part of the Champions League semi-final. He was part of the Ajax Europa League final. He's been there like his whole life since he was a kid. So yeah, he's been around.
So it's just a case of, I think we got the player at the right time in their career. We didn't get him when he's verging on just stagnating like a Daily Blind, or when he was a little too early. that we just kind of pushed him a little too far that he was ready for. But it feels like he's developed well enough for us to take full advantage of the player he can be at this point.
Yeah, I agree. And then also, just to say on Donny van der Beek, he will be wearing the number 34, and that's with regards to his friend, I think you pronounce it Ori, I think that's how you say it. His friend Ori, who I don't know what the exact story is, but I know he's not well or something. He's got a problem where he can't communicate and things like that. They can do subtle communications. I don't know what the exact story is, and I apologize. I don't want to get anything wrong. I don't want to say something and then that's not what he has. But yeah, there is a medical condition with his friend Ori, and then Ori's family came out saying that Donny van der Beek is like a son to them as well. So it's nice to see that Donny is going to represent his friend Ori's number at United. I think it'll motivate him more to do well. I think all the fans and everyone will be behind Donny and Ori to push through and get through and just show love all around. And from United fans, from you and I, from United fans around the world, we welcome Donny van der Beek, and we hope that you have a successful career ahead of you, and we all look after you. Thanks to Ajax, thanks to Edwin van der Sar, thanks to Ajax fans, we will look after your boy to the best as we can. And yeah, that's Donny van der Beek covered. Let's go into some more controversial things now. Goalkeeping is what I wanted to bring up. Now, goalkeeping at United currently, it's a mess. We have 3 good goalkeepers. We have Romero, Dean Henderson, De Gea. Right now, Romero looks like he's on the way out. It looks like Vela wants him.
Yeah.
I want to say there's hope that we can get Jack Grealish somehow out of that deal, but there's no hope, especially this summer. So you know what? Unless they have some negotiate. And it's not like Romero's worth a lot. I value him at 20 mil, I'll be honest. But I've seen rumors that he'll go for like 5, 10 mil, so which is like, it's really nothing compared to what Jack Grealish is. Well, Jack Grealish is like 80 mil, so that, I'm just saying this now, it just sounds ridiculous how we wanted Jack Grealish for 80 million. I understand from the board's point of view and the club, it is ridiculous. But like I said, he's one of my favorite players. You're going to have to forgive me for living up his ass. He's one of my favorite players. But yeah, Dean Henderson came up. And then I've seen this. These are some comments from Dean Henderson when he was at United. He says that he wants to put pressure on David De Gea. He says he 100% agrees that you can't be number 1 for your country if you're not number 1 for your club. Obviously, he's not number 1 at Manchester United yet. He said that I respect David. He's a phenomenal servant for the club and is one of the best. It's down to him, and he knows the challenge. His aim for next season is to play football. It wouldn't be clever to move to Manchester United if he knew he wasn't going to play football, and especially after the good season he had like that. And that's coming from Dean Henderson. Now, those comments for me, the mentality-wise from Dean Henderson, I love it. I love those comments that he said towards David De Gea, putting pressure on De Gea, saying that he wouldn't come here if he doesn't want to play football, especially after having a great season. These are all right things to say from Dean Henderson, and I don't fault him on that. And then, I was saying that, Dean Henderson, phenomenal goalkeeper. It's a mess at the moment. No coach really wants 2 great goalkeepers because goalkeeping is a very different position. You can't play them both. It's a lot to do with the mentality, confidence, and all the limelight is going to be on De Gea and Henderson. But what I will say is, last night I was on Man United player watch. I was watching my boy Dan James. I was watching my boy David De Gea. David De Gea played for Germany yesterday, and my God,
for Germany.
He played against Germany, but my goodness, De Gea played. He played like he was basically trying to prove something. De Gea, internationally, he was never the same player. He never looked like the same player. But, when De Gea plays like that internationally, it looked like he had a point to prove. It looked like he was saying that I'm going to fight for my position. And, I think this is one of the positives of having 2 goalkeepers in your club. Because now De Gea, don't get it wrong now. De Gea before wasn't thinking, I need to perform to the best. Romero's going to take my spot. We wanted that. We thought Romero was good enough, but reality was it was never going to happen. Dean Henderson is now here, though. Now De Gea is like, okay, shit. He knows it. If I don't take my chance, Dean Henderson is coming in to replace me. And, vice versa. If Dean Henderson, De Gea is there. But what I will say about De Gea is he's our number 1 still, like I said. I do think he deserves his chance first. And I tell you what, you play like that, the way you played against Germany, De Gea, you will be fine next season. What I seen last night was amazing. I seen the old De Gea. I seen the old prime De Gea. He saved everything. He man of the match for me. It was literally Germany versus De Gea. That's what it looked like. So I was very excited about him. So shout out De Gea, and then also shout out Dan James, who got an assist and was also man of the match. Both United players last night were man of the match for their club, their country. So yeah, big shout out to them. And Clay, what do you have to say about the Gea thing? I know obviously you didn't watch the game yesterday, but I messaged you, I messaged Marcus, I messaged Malota. I was telling everyone like how the guys there is playing like a good game. Do you think that there's any? You think it obviously it's a positive, but do you think he can carry it on to his club form?
Yeah, like I said last night, I definitely hope that he's going to take it as this is the starting point. We're only going to get better from here, and not this was a fluke, and I'm happy to sit bench for the rest of the season. You know, I very much hope he is coming into the season with the same mentality and intent that he went into this Germany game with, and I hope he can keep it up for the season because he is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, one of the best that we've seen in our generation as well. And it's tough to see him when he is out of form, but when he's in form, he's just a sight.
Yeah,
and I hope he can keep it.
I was actually speaking to Marcus yesterday, and it was like, it's funny how, like, when they has to make 100 saves, you can rely on, all of a sudden he's making 100 saves, but then the defense is good and everything looks solid. Then one moment where it's like ball is bouncing to his near post and he just watches it, or he just fumbles it in, and you're just thinking one save. That's all they had to make, one save, and he didn't. So it's really interesting to see that maybe they just need shots blasted at him. Who cares defensively? But yeah, I think last night it was a positive for De Gea. I think it was a positive for the fans. I hope he can do that next season. Otherwise, like I said, if you can't, Dean Henderson is there. The problem is though with this whole thing like this. De Gea, let's just say De Gea next season plays the first 5 games amazing. He's had great games. One bad game, like let's say the 6th game, he does a madness. He lets in floppy goals, he costs us the points. Then because I'll be honest, I can promise you now, I agree with Mark Overbridge because I could be one of them as well. If De Gea does that on the 6th game, despite those 5 games playing well, if he costs us 3 points in a crucial game or just any game where we're upset or anything, some fans will be screaming for his head saying, get Dean Henderson on now. And then let's just say it happens. Dean Henderson comes in. Again, same thing happens. A few games and then a mistake. And then we keep on switching goalkeepers. That's one thing that mustn't happen next season. We need to stick to a goalkeeper and just, stick with it. Stick with him. Whoever your goalkeeper, whoever all these first choice goalkeepers next season, stick to him through thick and thin. Don't make the problem more chaotic. Because the last thing we want at the end of the day as fans and as the club wants would be to mess them both up. You got 2 really good goalkeepers, 50%. There's a 50-50 here to keep one at that level. You're not going to get both of them, but there's definitely one. And don't mess up both. That's all I'll say with regards to the goalkeeping situation. So yeah, and we'll just have to see obviously how the Romero thing folds out. Another interesting thing has been obviously United have been rumored to sign 3 players. We've got Donny van de Beek, that's one. So Donny van de Beek is one. Sanchez, obviously, Sanchez. So that's 2. And if we do get a 3rd possible signing, it'll probably be in the defensive side. So either we've been linked with left backs and centre backs. So centre backs wide, there's Badashil, who seems likely. Badashil seems like the likely centre back, and then the left back, what's his name? I forgot his name. Who we linked to? Reguilon.
I don't know how to say his name.
I think it's Reguilon. Reguilon? Is that how I say it? Yeah. So Reguilon. So we've been linked to him. And what I will say is at left back, I was if you asked me last season, do we need a left back? I would have been like, no. We've got Luke Shaw, Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams has been a little 50-50. I'm not saying he can't play left back, but I wouldn't prefer him to be left back. I'd like to see him on the right side because he looks a lot right-footed. And then, the only reason I'm bringing this up was because I think us and many fans, let me not say that. Lots of fans think we do need a left back, and rightly so. After I heard the stat from Statman Dave, Statman Dave came out with stat. Let me say it. But the stat came out that Luke Shaw, as great as Luke Shaw is amazing. He's our number 1 left back. Don't get it wrong. He's phenomenal. One of the best left backs in the league. But the stat came out saying that he only played 50% of the Premier League minutes that was available to him. 50%. Now that's
not
shocking.
Okay.
I didn't think it was that bad. Listen, I thought it was bad. Maybe Luke Shaw missed 30% of our games. But 50% of Premier League minutes that were available to him, he didn't take. And you know, when someone reads me a stat like that, I'm thinking, shit, we need a left back, because that means for 50% of our league, 18 games basically, we don't have a left back. And we've seen what it's like when we don't have a left back. Rashford doesn't look as good. The team just, you know, it's just not as good. Our left side gets abused. I'm not saying Williams can't, you know, go back, because when Williams first burst onto the scene, he was great also. But, you know, that is a problem that, you know, I'm starting to think maybe a left back is also very crucial. Now you're thinking, yeah, so left back and a centre back also look very crucial. And okay, that's that. Does that take you by any surprise? It took me by surprise. I knew Luke Shaw was kind of injury prone, but to miss 50% of Premier League minutes that were available to you, that's ridiculous.
It's definitely ridiculous. When I heard that stat this morning as well, I was very shocked, and I didn't quite realize it was that bad. I definitely knew he missed a good few games. I knew he got subbed off every now and then. Not really. You know, Brandon Williams played a lot of games this season, and it did look like he was going to take first team spot at a stage. Don't get me wrong, Luke Shaw did really show his class during those 50% of the games.
That's why competition is good. That's why competition is good.
Competition's fantastic, but once one's out injured, Brandon Williams looked terrible at the end of the season. It generally felt like that as well. So I think a class left back, whoever it may be, is very much needed right now. One that can stay fit for the entire season. Because we could use Luke Shaw in those cup games. You could use him in some Champions League games that are a bit easier, you know. Something like, just take him off of that heavy schedule and let the man breathe a little bit, so he doesn't be in the injury room for half the time that he's allowed to play football this season. So
who would
hopefully
your left back? Like, obviously, you know, if our dream left back, both of us would probably say Alphonso Davies, but Alphonso Davies is not realistic. So who would the type of left back? Would you bring in like a left back who's like not I don't want to mention someone like Brandon Williams like that. A little bit more older, like a little bit more older than Brandon Williams. You know, more established as a first team left back. Would you bring in someone like a young up and coming left back to rotate in, or will you be looking for a Luke Shaw replacement already? Like, you know, just a Luke Shaw replacement, and Luke Shaw must then rotate. What type of left back would you try to bring in?
I think it's a tough one. It's just tough with Luke Shaw being injury prone. A lot of our squad is injury prone at this point, and it hurts to say, but we do need that squad depth at the very least. I don't think I would like a young up and coming. I think I'd want someone who's going to play a lot of first team, because like you said, because he is up for 50%.
Well, yeah, like I said, 50% of the games we need
50%. We didn't have a first team left back. That's not saying you should be counting on youth for all the time. Like, if it was a 75 and 80, I would be like, okay, cool, we're fine.
That's what I thought. I was really shocked. My mouth dropped when I heard that. I was just eating I was eating my Cocoa Pops in the morning, just watching that news, and then they're like, Luke Shaw 50%, and I was like, huh? 50? Not 50%? You missed 50%? No ways. That's when it hit me in the head, like, no, guys, as much as I love Luke Shaw, we need a left back. We need a left back for half the season. So yeah, you know, again, Brandon Williams is good, but I agree with you. I think we need a. See, now it's hard because, you know, I really
someone more established.
Yeah. So if it was me, I would like an up and coming left back who's got a good record, like, you know, good fitness record, and just see how it is to replace Luke Shaw. And it's not there. I wouldn't really look for a Luke Shaw replacement as well. But, you know, again, like that doesn't lie. When you miss 50% of our games, what's the use?
I think you need to look at some kind of replacement, or someone that's as strong or stronger than him to take his place, and then he can get second. Because a left back we don't exactly have depth for. We played Fosu out of position at the end of the season. Yeah, we should get another left back at the end of the day, and it should be something on our shopping list. It should be something we're focused on, whether it be someone a lot more aged and experienced. Okay, obviously not going to the extreme of like a Jordi Alba who's 33 or at the end of his career, you know, not quite that experienced. You want,
you know, it could be interesting. I'm not an advocate for this, but I'm just thinking if the club had to think like that, like, let's, you know, okay, it's not gonna happen, but let's do someone like a player like Jordi Alba, or like a player like Marcelo, end of their career, but they're a very good left back, And Luke, but then they must come to United knowing that they won't be our first team left back. Like imagine we had an older player, established left back on our bench, but then when Luke Shaw does his hammy or he does his ankle or something, you bring on an old player to play and they establish. So I wouldn't be opposed to that, but again, I can't name you a player. Like listen, I use freaking Marcelo and Alba as examples.
Yeah.
That's like literally I don't know who
exactly.
to bring in at left back besides Alphonso Davies, but that's never gonna happen in a million years. So yeah, with left back, I really don't know. I'm just all I can say, I hope he's left-footed. That's the main reason why I want left back. I want him to be left-footed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I can say with that. But yeah, I think you made some good points, and yeah, I agree with you. I agree with what you said. Let us know your thoughts down below about the left back situation, whether or not who would you bring in. Let us know who you bring in as left back. And then I have to get this off my chest. I wrote it down this morning. I had to get it off my chest, Clay. I don't know if you probably did see it. Alexis Sanchez comments.
Oh yeah.
See it? Yeah. So Alexis Sanchez came out, if anyone didn't know, and he did I think it was on his Instagram live or something, and he said that the first time I came at United, after I signed the contract, the first training session, I went home and I basically told my agent, can we rip up the contract and go back to Arsenal? And I was just thinking, and the comments about how he didn't like the way Greenwood bullied him in training or something, and all he's seen that Greenwood could be way better than Alexis Sanchez, and just not. We'll talk about Alexis Sanchez. When Alexis Sanchez came, he was the highest earning player in the Premier League history. No one got as much wages as him. He did definitely came for money, and and I hear comments like that. If he's trying to get sympathy from United fans and make us feel sorry for them, I can tell you what, you're not gonna get it, my friend. You can shove a cactus straight up your fucking ass and get hit by a bus. I don't care about you, Alexis Sanchez. I hate you. You're a cancer to the club. Yeah, I hate Alexis Sanchez. I don't. Just fuck off from our lives. You're a cancer to the club. You nearly got Martial and Rashford out of the club. Well, not Rashford so much, but definitely Martial. You're one of the reasons, and I hate you. I've got no sorry for you. I don't care about you. Like I said, you got hit by a bus. You're a snake. You and Di Maria on the same list where I hate United, the ex-United players. And it's sad I have to call you an ex-United player. I would like you forever in my head would be an ex-Arsenal player. I hate you that much. And I don't wish you all the best. You can get lost and you can go fuck yourself. Clay, what do you have to say about the Alexis Sanchez things? I mean, it just shows his mentality where it was at. It just showed the whole freaking situation, how low we were and how far we've come from that point where we are now. But what are your just general thoughts on the Alexis Sanchez comments?
Oh, Alexis Sanchez, he should have been something a lot better, but you can tell why it didn't happen considering his current thoughts. And I just agree with you. You can just get lost. Have fun at Inter. It's all yours.
Have fun. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I was thinking, if you're a professional football player, where's your mentality at when you say you come home and you said, after the first training, I wanted to wrap up my contract and go back to Arsenal? What? That makes no sense. And then Mason Greenwood is 17 at that age. He's not much of an age difference now, but 17 when he did that to where he looked like he was trying to, push you in training or whatever. I mean, that's just, it shows what my son is like and what Alexis Sanchez is like. Don't get me wrong, Sanchez was a phenomenal Premier League player, one of the best for a long time at Arsenal, but he can get lost. You ask Arsenal fans even back then, they were telling us that Alexis Sanchez at that time is not really a smart.
He was
magic.
He was magical at Arsenal, and it's so sad to see that this is where it's come to, that he's literally getting booed off to Inter Milan now.
Yeah, I couldn't care. I literally couldn't care. But yeah, it's interesting to see what Alexis Sanchez had to say. And then also, I must give a shout out to our Fantasy Premier League. Yes, we have a Fantasy Premier League for the Red Devils Africa YouTube channel. And I'm just going to give a shout out to everyone who's joined. If you haven't joined already, you can get all the information in the description below. I'll post it in the comments as well. The code should be there. Just go on Fantasy Premier League. If you guys don't know what Fantasy Premier League is by any chance, and you're looking to join it's your first time, basically Fantasy Premier League is just a website where you can play a game. You build up a team. You get a budget of like 100 million. not actual cash, it's just in-game currency, and you get 100 million to buy a player. So let's say you want Aubameyang. Aubameyang is 12 mil. If you want Bruno, Bruno is like, let's just say 11 mil or something like that. So you basically get 100 mil, you build your team, and yeah, you get points every game week, for goals scored, if your player scored, and things like that. It's very fun. You have to be very consistent because there is a point in the season where people just forget about doing their teams. So yeah, keep consistent. Join our league if you want to compete against myself, Clayton, Marcus, Maloto. Also, we will always be there. Let's see what you guys got compared to us presenters. Let's see. We will discuss it every week as game weeks go on. But yeah, just shout out to Jeffrey. Shout out to Hamza, shout out to Josh, shout out to Bobik, and then the rest of us is just us presenters. So if you haven't joined already, like I said, all the information will be down below. Do feel free to join. I would like to see some exciting team names.
Yeah.
Feel free to bully Clayton on Twitter. I don't know what his Twitter handle is, but I think it's Clayface or something on Twitter. Bully him for his name. Yeah. Oh, it's unguarded ace there. But please bully him for his team name. It's I can't. It's Lingarium Leviosa. So yeah, feel free to interact with us there.
That's class.
It's not class. I should have answered. But yeah, Clayton will definitely be looking to make a stand on it as he's the Premier League champion of last season. So yeah, I'm sure you'd like to keep the crown. I'm sure Maloto will like to take the crown. I would love to take the crown. Marcus would like to take the crown. I'm sure plenty of you guys would like to do it. So let's see. Hopefully we can get in some prizes as well for you guys. And yeah, just join, and I will be giving out shout outs weekly to any new members in the fantasy league. So yeah, and without further ado, without me waffling out too much, to summarize the show, basically, Donny van de Beek, Manchester United officially, he's one of our own. I forgot the stats. 14 goals, 6 assists. I think it was something like that. Definitely. 7. So 14 goals, 7 assists. Amazing midfielder. He can do everything. He can play anywhere in the midfield. Definitely. Very versatile. He likes scoring goals. He likes going to the box like Bruno. His passing is amazing. Technically, he's great. He's 6 foot, by the way. So don't think he's small or midget. Just because of the way he plays. This guy is 6 foot. He's 1.84 meters tall. If you don't know what 6 foot is, so he's 1.84 meters tall. He's a big guy. He's a quality player. I applaud the club. I applaud Oli for the signing. Goalkeeper madness. De Gea, Henderson. You guys let us know. Let us know if you watched De Gea's performance last night. Fantasy League, join us on that. Alexis Sanchez, fuck yourself. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. And if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing.